The reward system of negative thinking, a neurobiological perspective. Our brain is a complex organ that constantly processes both the things happening around us and the thoughts running through our minds. But have you ever wondered why our brain seems to be drawn to negative thoughts? This puzzling tendency has left psychologists and neuroscientists perplexed. Despite the negative impact on our mental well-being, our brain actually rewards negative thinking. This can lead to repetitive cycles of pessimistic or anxious thoughts. To truly understand why this happens, we need to delve into the intricate neurobiological and psychological mechanisms at play. Join us in this enlightening video as we explore the cognitive and evolutionary reasons behind our brain's affinity for negative thinking. It turns out that these tendencies are deeply rooted in our survival instincts, neurochemistry, and societal conditioning. Get ready to uncover the mysteries of the human brain and gain a deeper understanding of this intriguing phenomenon. The evolutionary perspective, survival instincts. From an evolutionary standpoint, humans are hardwired to focus on potential threats over positive outcomes. Our ancestors, who were more attuned to danger, were more likely to survive. For example, being overly sensitive to rustling bushes as a possible sign of a predator increased survival rates, even if it led to false alarms. This cognitive bias toward negativity, known as the negativity bias, ensured early humans reacted quickly to dangers. Although modern environments are less perilous, the brain still operates on these survival instincts. Threats are now more abstract, like the fear of failure or financial instability, but the brain's response remains the same. Negative thinking about these modern threats reflects an ancient mechanism that helps prevent risky behavior and social exclusion. The brain's reward system, dopamine and negative reinforcement. Did you know that negative thinking can actually be reinforced by our brain's reward system? It may seem counterintuitive, but negative reinforcement plays a crucial role in our thought patterns. When we worry about something, like a presentation, it can drive us to over-prepare, and once the task is completed, the relief from anxiety acts as a reward even though the initial thought was negative. Neurologically, our brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with reward and motivation, in response to both the anticipation of negative outcomes and their avoidance. So when we successfully avoid a negative outcome, whether it's real or imagined, our brain rewards itself by reducing stress and anxiety. This reinforcement strengthens the cycle of negative thinking. This phenomenon is known as defensive pessimism. People who habitually focus on potential negative outcomes do so to control or mitigate risk. And when this strategy leads to better preparation or avoidance of danger, the brain rewards it, further strengthening the habit of negative thinking. So, the next time you catch yourself indulging in negative thoughts, remember that your brain may be rewarding it in its own unique way. It's an interesting paradox that sheds light on the complexity of our brain's reward system and how it influences our thinking. Role of cortisol and stress response. Stress can really impact our thinking. When we're stressed, our body releases a hormone called cortisol, which makes us more aware of potential threats and activates regions of the brain involved in fear and anxiety. This can lead to negative thought patterns as our brain becomes hyperactive in response to perceived danger. In fact, the more we experience stress, the more likely our brain is to engage in negative thinking, as it strengthens neural pathways associated with fear and anxiety. Essentially, our brain rewards itself for staying vigilant in stressful environments by continuing to prioritize negative thinking. Cognitive biases, negative feedback loops. Do you ever find yourself stuck in a cycle of negative thinking? It's not just about neurobiology. Cognitive biases, like catastrophizing and all-or-nothing thinking, create self-perpetuating negative feedback loops that distort reality. Once we adopt a negative viewpoint, confirmation bias kicks in, making us focus on evidence that supports our negative thoughts while ignoring anything positive. It's a cognitive trap that's difficult to break. Let's try to recognize these biases and work on accessing positive alternatives. Social and environmental conditioning. We as humans are inherently social creatures. Our brains are wired to seek validation and approval from those around us. However, this need for validation can often lead to negative thinking. Especially in social situations, external factors such as societal expectations, media and cultural norms play a significant role in reinforcing this negativity. In many cultures, we are conditioned to be hyper-aware of our weaknesses, shortcomings, and failures. This constant focus on our flaws only serves to reinforce patterns of negative self-evaluation. It becomes harder to break free from this cycle and embrace a more positive mindset. Furthermore, the media has a tendency to highlight negative events like wars, disasters, and crises. This constant bombardment of negativity can lead to what is known as mean world syndrome, where individuals perceive the world as more dangerous than it actually is. This external reinforcement of negative thinking further hinders our ability to shift towards a more positive outlook. Our brains adapt to the stimuli we encounter, reinforcing a worldview dominated by negativity. We must recognize the impact of these external factors on our mindset and consciously strive to break free from the cycle of negative thinking. By challenging societal expectations, media narratives, and cultural norms, we can begin to create a more positive and uplifting environment for ourselves and those around us. Conclusion: breaking negative thinking. Negative thinking, though harmful to our emotional well-being, is closely connected to our survival instincts, neurobiology, and societal influences. Our brain actually rewards negative thinking because it serves a purpose, helping us prepare for potential threats and avoid harm. But here's the exciting part. Thanks to our modern understanding of neuroplasticity and cognitive behavioral techniques, it is now possible to retrain our brain and break the cycle of negative thinking. By cultivating awareness of these processes, we can gradually shift towards a more balanced and positive mindset. This means aligning our thinking with the complexities of the modern world rather than dwelling on the dangers of the past. It's time to unlock the power of our brains and embrace a brighter, more fulfilling way of thinking.